Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. December 27th, Problem Solving. Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 42. Through the recovery process described in the Big Book, I have come to realize that the same instructions that work on my alcoholism work on much more. Whenever I am angry or frustrated, I consider the matter a manifestation of the main problem within me, alcoholism. As I walk through the steps, my difficulty is usually dealt with long before I reach the 12th suggestion. And those difficulties that persist are remedied when I make an effort to carry the message to someone else. These principles do solve my problems. I have not encountered an exception, and I have been brought to a way of living which is satisfying and useful. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, December 27th. Maybe we need many points of view in order to understand life more fully. After all, no one person's view is totally complete. So when my partner, my child, my employer, or an Al-Anon friend takes a position unlike my own, I have a choice. I can assume that one of us is wrong and defend myself, or I can be grateful for the chance to see that there are countless ways of looking at life. An abundance of wisdom is available if I keep an open mind. I try to practice this attitude when my loved one and I discuss anything, even TV. We often perceive a TV show so differently that it's hard to believe we've been watching the same station. I used to take these disagreements personally. One of us had to be wrong, and my position had to be accepted. Today, I don't think there's anything personal about a difference of opinion. If you think the sea is blue and I think it's green, I don't have to spend all day trying to convince you. Al-Anon helps me believe in myself and respect that other people are entitled to do the same. Today's reminder: I don't have to invalidate anyone else's view in order to validate my own. It's all right to disagree. Today I will respect someone's right to think differently. There is a quote from Voltaire, and it reads, "Think for yourself and let others enjoy the privilege of doing so too." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, December 27th. God could restore us to sanity. The process of coming to believe restores us to sanity. The strength to move into action comes from this belief. Basic text, page 25. Now that we've finally admitted our insanity and seen examples of it in all its manifestations, we might be tempted to believe that we are doomed to repeat this behavior for the rest of our lives. Just as we thought that our act of addiction was hopeless and we'd never get clean, we might now believe that our particular brand of insanity is hopeless. Not so. We know that we owe our freedom from active addiction to the grace of a loving God. If our higher power can perform such a miracle as relieving our obsession to use drugs, surely this power can also relieve our insanity in all its forms. If we doubt this, all we have to do is think about the sanity that has already been restored to our lives. Maybe we've gotten carried away with our credit cards, but sanity returns when we admit defeat and cut them all up. Perhaps we've been feeling lonely and want to go visit our old using buddies. Going to visit our sponsor instead is a sane act. The insanity of our addiction recedes into the past as we begin experiencing moments of sanity in our recovery. Our belief in a power greater than ourselves grows as we begin to understand that even our brand of insanity is nothing in the face of this power. Just for today, I thank the God of my understanding for each sane act in my life, for I know they are indications of my restoration to sanity. Today, Emotions Anonymous, December 27th. Reflection for today. Many of us continue seeking relationships where we end up feeling rejected and abandoned. Yet we resist believing we could gravitate to relationships which could cause us once again to question our worth. It is a known fact, though, that we tend to repeat what we have experienced, whatever feels familiar. The familiar may be miserable, but secure. We know what to expect. As we look honestly at our past relationships, how many times have we unconsciously been drawn toward someone who has not been able to be there emotionally over the long haul? Meditation for today. May my new awareness plus your guidance help me seek relationships where I feel valued instead of rejected. Today I will remember I deserve to be valued. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. December 27th. Grief and tools. While grief can be perceptible through writing and talking about our memories, some grief is not always visible. BRB, page 200. ACA encourages us to journal and share our story to help with our grieving process. While some of us use only these tools, they are thankfully many other tools available. That's important to know because for some of us, our grief doesn't always surface while we are writing or talking. The hidden inner child may be too terrorized to respond to these methods. If this is the case, we learn to experiment with other methods to gain our inner child's trust. One tool is the non-dominant handwriting exercise. Another is seeing a qualified therapist. Whatever method works for us to uncover the grief, eventually sharing what we find will empower us to continue the journey toward wholeness with the support of our meetings and our fellow travelers. There's plenty of room in our toolbox for whatever tools we may find along the way that help us get to the heart of what we're dealing with. But we are careful about advising others to do this work, since what may work for us may not work for someone else. Our goals are what we focus on to awaken spiritually, integrate our traits, and reparent ourselves to wholeness with gentleness, humor, love, and respect. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I will use the tools of recovery as well as any other tools that can help me to get in touch with my inner child." Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are not alone and that recovery is possible one day at a time.